Japanese music is a constantly evolving art form, shaped by a generation of songs. But among the countless melodies that have come and gone, only a few will be remembered for the legacy they leave behind. One of those songs is Senbonzakura, a track that not only defined an era of Vocaloid, but also blurred the lines between internet subculture and mainstream J-pop. Its sound, visuals, and impact on Japanese culture can still be felt even more than a decade later. In this video, I'm going to talk about the story behind Senbonzakura and what makes it such a special song. Senbonzakura was created by Kurousa-P from the music group, White Flame, and released in September 2011. You might not be able to tell from the song itself, but it was actually created, in part, to honor the victims and survivors of the worst natural disaster in Japan's history, the Tohoku Earthquake, which had struck the nation just 6 months before the song's release. While the music had already been composed prior to the earthquake, the lyrics and illustration came afterward, and were made with the intention of uplifting a nation that had just experienced unimaginable pain. And I think it's fair to say that Kurousa-P and the illustrator, Itomaru, achieved that and more. Right after Kurousa-P uploaded the music video onto the popular Japanese video site, Niconico, the song instantly took off in popularity and saw many covers within days. These covers didn't only come in the form of vocals, there were also piano covers. And for some reason, landline covers. Of all the iconic Japanese songs that I plan to cover on this channel, as in discuss, not the singing kind of cover, one thing that really makes Senbonzakura stand out is its longevity. Even 2 years since its release, the popularity of Senbonzakura is still rising rapidly. The main reason is the many versions covered by artists across different genres, something that's not very common in Japan. Covers, also known as utademita, are a massive part of Japanese internet culture and helped launch the careers of singers like Ado. But it's not very common for professional artists to cover a song and make it their own, like what Whitney Houston did with I Will Always Love You. However, due to the nature of Vocaloid being a less mainstream music genre, and the song's accessibility to people from all demographics, Senbonzakura struck a unique balance, where even though the original version has become immensely popular, those who are not familiar with internet culture can still discover it through its many reinterpretations. In 2013, a piano cover of Senbonzakura was featured in a Toyota commercial. Then, in 2014, one of the rare cases in J-pop where the cover became even more popular than the original happened. A rather unknown band at that time, called Wagakki Band, released their version of Senbonzakura. This rendition incorporated traditional Japanese instruments that allowed the song to reach its full potential. The perfect blend of traditional Japanese music and rock, both instrumentally and vocally, turned Senbonzakura into a national phenomenon that even spread overseas. Following this success, Wagakki Band became one of the hottest artists in Japan and a global ambassador for traditional Japanese music. It also brought in an older generation of audiences who could appreciate the traditional sound and lyrics, but would have had a hard time accepting Vocaloid. That eventually led to a surprise cover by the legendary enka singer, Kobayashi Sachiko. In 2016, the original Senbonzakura became the third ever Vocaloid song on Niconico to reach 10 million views, officially solidifying its legendary status within the Vocaloid community, if it hadn't already. Since then, the song has continued to be covered by vocalists across J-pop, including a certain singer named Ado. The cultural impact of Senbonzakura didn't stop at cover songs, as it was also adapted into a novel series, a manga series, a stage musical, and, surprisingly fitting, a kabuki show featuring the famous kabuki actor, Nakamura Shido. Now, what made Senbonzakura such a beloved song? beyond being a great piece of music? The answer, according to the producer, Kurousa-P, is Jidai no nagare, meaning a sign of the time. As I mentioned earlier, the song came out only months after the Tohoku Earthquake. In the face of national tragedy and deep uncertainty, the people were desperately searching for something meaningful to hold on to. So when a song with a strong traditional essence that reminded people of their cultural roots came along, it naturally became a symbol of resilience and national identity. But why does Senbonzakura have such a historical feel to it? After all, it's performed by Hatsune Miku, so it's as modern as it gets, and sonically, it's closer to rock and digital pop. Sure, it definitely helps that the song features stereotypical Japanese motifs. The song title translates to 1,000 cherry blossoms. The lyrics are packed with classical Japanese vocabulary, and the visuals resemble the Taisho era, early 20th century Japan. That was a time when Western culture was first properly introduced to Japanese society, which is why Miku was dressed in a westernized military uniform. By the way, the story of Demon Slayer also took place during the Taisho era, so you might notice a resemblance between the Demon Slayer corpse uniform and Miku's outfit in the music video. But these alone don't make Senbonzakura the perfect blend of modern and tradition. What truly completes the song is its use of yonanuki onkai, also known as the pentatonic scale, a music scale that removes the 4th and 7th notes. It is well established in Japanese music that yonanuki onkai was the blueprint for most of the songs made during the Meiji Taisho era, and all the way through post-war Japan. So for modern listeners, it naturally gives off a familiar and nostalgic vibe. Some of the most iconic examples include Ue o Muite Aruko by Sakamoto Q, and more recently, Uchiage Hanabi by Yonezu Kenshi and Daoko. Senbonzakura has been one of the most popular Vocaloid songs since its release over a decade ago. It played a major role in normalizing Vocaloid's presence in the mainstream media and introducing the Japanese subculture to a whole new generation of audiences, both in Japan and abroad. But perhaps more impressively, the song made a lasting impact on Japanese culture as a whole. It's undeniable that tradition and history aren't always compatible with technology, trend, and pop. One universal theme across all societies is that both older and younger generations are often unable to appreciate the present and the past, especially in music. However, in a time of need, Kurousa-P created a song that brought people together, a beautiful piece of music that defines a new era of Japanese culture, one where digital innovation and cultural heritage can coexist in harmony. This has been Cushion. See you next time.